Raven and Trina, they've been helping me out over the weekend. If you guys have seen me over there in the merch hall, I have t-shirts and stuff. They've been helping me out, and they really wanted to test out the chairs that were back there, so that's why
I'm up here because of his stupidity.
Yeah, one of the chairs. But what I do is I tell scary stories around the interwebs and things like that, such as one that Libby here has written. There's different stories about death, murder, macabre, so if you guys didn't know what you were getting yourselves into, that's basically it. That's what I'm going to be doing tonight, is telling a whole bunch of scary, spoopy, disgusting things. And
a couple of people leaving.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the things. I'm going to open up with something that's going to be the scariest story I've ever told. However, I'm just trying to see if there's a way for me to turn off the lights that are back there.
Oh.
And I think there are. There's a light switch right over on that side. Anybody want to try to flick one for me real quick?
Ooh.
Ooh.
The waving moans.
Going straight down the middle. The exit is that way.
Yeah. So in case you guys need the emergency lights, just follow the trail.
Yeah.
Okay. The absolute scariest story I've ever told. This is what I'm going to start off with. So everybody knows what they're getting in for, okay? Absolute scariest story. Once, I wanted to play Mario, but I didn't have a Nintendo for it, and I was at a flea market. This old man I saw had Mario and the Nintendo, but the label was not there. Also, the man said it was owned by a dead kid named Jim. I said whatever, because I was eager to play Mario on my new Nintendo. I plugged it in and everything seemed normal. I played World 1-1 and did it. Then I tried the old warp pipe trick. And when I got to the pipes, instead of the usual text that said, "Welcome to the warp zone," it said, "Welcome to the scary hell place." I thought that was weird.
No shit, Sherlock.
But then I said, whatever. And I tried the farthest pipe. The intro screen showed the words, "Death World 666. The graphics seemed off and it sounded like screams happened from the game. It was super scary. But I wasn't scared and I kept playing. After a while, I hit a place that was impossible to pass because of spikes, so I had to die. I kept trying until my lives were at 0. I thought that it would be game over, but Mario came back, and this time it looked like his face was bloody. As I started playing the level, it turned into a hidden cloud level, and it looked like Mario had angel wings. A spooky digital voice came out of the Nintendo that sounded like it said, "No hope." As I was about to grab a mushroom, the screen went black. I reset the Nintendo and the game came up. This time, the title screen was different, and Mario's face was bloody. It scared me so much that I had to reset it again. As it came on, the digital voice said, "You can't run from the funk." The screen was hyper-realistic.
There it is.
And it showed Mario again, only this time his face was me and my family's face, and we were skeletons. It was so realistic that I couldn't believe it. I was compelled to try the game again. This time I started it, and as the first Goomba walked towards Mario, Mario turned towards the screen and started screaming, "No mas! No mas!" It sounded like high-quality CD audio. I screamed and I turned off the game. I put it away. Later that week, I noticed my family acting distantly. I decided to research Mario games, and I found out that Mario was in a secret game that was only released in 2 arcades on Friday the 13th. June 6th, 1997. It seemed
Quick, somebody look it
weird.
up.
So I started playing the game again. I decided to put in the Mario game. I loaded it up and I saw my save file. I clicked it and Mario said, "Why? A U, a no, a stop, a game." I didn't take his warning. And I played anyway. I got up to Bowser and I won, but when I got to Peach, there was Toad there instead, and he said, "Peach is dead." Then a ghost face came up and it had a lady's face, and Princess Peach is the lady. I reset the game for the last time. I opened up my save file and it changed from my name. It said, "Jim died, bro." Then my mom walked in and she screamed that I was dead the whole time, and guess what? My name was Jim. So anyway, I don't know if any of you guys have experienced anything like that. It might have just been a bad dream, and anyway, my mom sold the cartridge at a yard sale, so I don't have it anymore, but you should believe me. Because it's true. That was a haunting most. That was super spooky, right? That was super spooky. Everybody was shitting themselves. It was great.
Nope, I peed.
A mound of crap.
There's a mountain.
A literal mound. Okay. I'm gonna do the spooky one. Okay, obviously that's not a real creepypasta, it's crappy pasta. So there's one thing that I like to do, and that's if you guys have seen my videos, for those of you that haven't, I really like to do this thing where I wear my blue mask on camera, and I have my best friend Billy with me, who's a skeleton, and I get to act all goofy and stuff, and act like the Crypt Keeper, and do all this weird stuff, because I really believe that comedy mixes really well with horror. And I try to do that as much as I can on my videos. I know a lot of people like to do horror where it's just straight horror, but I always thought they kind of went hand in hand. Like, I'm really big fans of like Freddy Krueger and things like that. And he really embodied that bit of like horror mixed with comedy. Like, on one hand you want to laugh, on the other hand he's like a disemboweling teenager. So I always like to be able to mix those things together. So I like to have fun with it, which is why I also do really gross shit. But actually, let's do something gross. Yeah, you guys want to get gross?
Cockroaches.
Okay.
Did anybody eat Taco Bell before?
Yeah, you want to get gross?
There was a dumpster behind a Taco Bell that hasn't been cleaned out in years.
Oh God.
Oh.
I don't know him.
This is written by a friend of mine named Barnabas Demos. I actually had the idea for this story a couple of years ago when I was flying back, because I do a lot of these conventions where I'm flying around, and I really had this idea about like doing horror on a plane. So I was giving him the idea, and I wanted to play a kind of a funnier character. So Charlie the comedian is going places. That's the punchline. But I mean, I'll be damned if I can figure out a proper setup. I mean, what the heck kind of setup can I bring to the table for this? I mean, it's funny. It's kind of dark if you think about it. I don't know. Maybe it's too intelligent. Do you think I should take my name out of the punchline, maybe make it less selfish and more general so that people can empathize with it better? The cabbie just simply looks at me as I Gatling gun questions at him. He had asked me in his broken English what I did for a living in an effort to make small talk, and I think I may have exhausted his linguistic skills already. He just stared forward and didn't respond at all. I was about to ask another when the cab stopped and he spouted the only other words he clearly knew, which consisted of dollar values for the ride. And after plopping some crumpled up bills in his hand, I grabbed my one small suitcase from the other seat and stepped out into the cold, late night air and the loud, annoying sounds of a Los Angeles airport. It had to be almost midnight, and the noise this place was making, it was like 3 goats and a herd of elephants. Mid-coitus. Some excellent reverb. So I stepped through those sliding doors, ticket and ID in hand, checked in with one of those amazing little technological wonders, a self-kiosk, and after it yelled at me in several different languages other than English, and warbled for about 10 minutes about how I may or may not be Charlie Masterson, it finally vomited out my boarding pass. The wonders of the modern world. Hauling my ass to the security check line like a cracked out Miley Cyrus. Actually, is that redundant? Actually, not only would I be going away from security instead of going to whatever, I ran my ass to TSA check-in, and I was greeted with a long line. The joys of airport security. Removing our shoes in order to enjoy the stank of each other's feet, the chucking of important electronics and private toiletries into the little plastic tubs. And as I strut my way into the giant capsule-like detector and they tell me to lift up my arms, I decide to make a couple of double horns and rock my head out. It's the middle of the night. I bombed in LA and I'm all but broke, but you gotta find the little things that keep you smiling, right? Unfortunately, the machine and the TSA agent didn't quite agree. It beeped, he yelled, and I got dragged into the side screen, and voila, I'm getting the old touchy-touchy and the crotchy-crotchy by some older fat guy. Hopefully this isn't a sign of the rest of the night. After I will myself with all powers of self-control not to respond when he asks if I have anything to declare, that I declare that he had bad dandruff, and I could see his Sasquatch butt crack, he finally let me go. The delays had given me just enough time to run again at top speed to the gate. See, this is probably where that Miley Cyrus joke would have worked a whole lot better. I barely managed to get to the door just as they were closing it. Bustling through, I tried to find my aisle seat. I don't know what kind of double-edged sword this is, but in this full flight of jerks, there were 2 empty seats in a row right next to the emergency exit. Hooray! I get to sit unmolested with no one next to me. Damn it, that if I have any idea that something is to go wrong on this flight, I have to help out with getting these jerks to safety. I flop into the seat and let out a massive sigh. A red-eye flight out of this place and back home to Portland. Charlie, the comedian, was going places. So after stowing that little suitcase under the seat, I settled into my chair and wiggle around like a dog trying to scratch his ass. You know, you gotta kind of unask for the last person who was sitting here. I shut my eyes, and I exhale a bit, and I re-inhale the plane's air. God, I hate airplane air. It doesn't smell rancid or anything. It's actually the opposite. It smells sterile. Like I'm in the air conditioning of a hospital. But unlike a hospital, it's not free or roaming. It's pressurized. It's pushed up on you like a big invisible iron lung, filling your lungs with the breath of life, but still smothering you all over. I don't know how other people deal with it, but to me, it's annoying. It's frustrating. It's maddening. I hate it. And I'm vaguely aware of my cabin mates. You know, they're rustling, they're crying, they're low murmuring, they're snoring. You hear someone come out of the lavatory sniffing and coughing. How can they possibly handle this irritating air? I'm rustled out of my headspace by a man's voice. "Excuse me," he blurts out. My eyes go up and I see a middle-aged man in a Hawaiian shirt and jeans. Oh, geez. He's sitting next to me. Oh, great, there goes my one last little bit of silver lining, jerk. All right, am I getting ass or crotch? I ask with a sarcastic smirk. "Excuse me?" Yes, gruffly. I take a look at the guy and I instantly realize I'm not gonna like it. Hawaiian shirt, jeans, sunglasses over his forehead, sitting on a military cut. He's not exactly ugly, but it's clear that he's had his face beat the hell out of over the years. It's clear he's athletic, but he's got this big girth around his shirt. It's like someone's hard-ass retired dad. I don't like him. You know, you're gonna shove your ass or your crotch in my face. I just want to know if I need a magnifying glass or a gas mask. I realize that my predisposition towards him is guiding me now. And he's clearly picking up on that, on how he glares down at me without blinking. I let out an apology, and I retract my legs. I'm sorry, man, I'm just having a rough day. Because I can't be a comedian in or out of a gig. Your apology is accepted, he states flatly and walks through, giving me a face full of ass. Yeah, at least he didn't fart. He flops down with a harumph. Again, man, I'm sorry. Let's not have a shitty flight next to each other. My name's Charlie. I put my hand towards him after he's done putting on his seatbelt. Victor, he says, grasping my hand and shaking it. It's like shaking hands with a shaved bear. Good God, I thought he was going to break it off with his calluses. You know, there's a joke in here about severe friction burn, but I'm going to take the high road on that one. I smirk a bit as I notice the annoying sounds of a cat getting strangled while trying to speak Vietnamese at the same time. Oh, wait, no, that's the trashy-looking stewardess telling us the safety features of this POS 740 something. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. I'm a comedian, not a person that pays attention. God, I hate this air. I hear her blathering on about the emergency exit, and if you feel you can't perform the functions that we need to ask to be moved. Hey, the plane is full. May as well not even bother. Plus, I have Victor, the jerk face sitting next to the door anyway. Well, Victor, it looks like it's up to you and me to save these people if we go down, I remarked, trying to lighten my faux pas. Judging how you look in our first impression, I'm guessing I'll be doing all the work while you mouth off. Last thing a plane in danger needs is someone who thinks he's a comedian. Well, this plane does have a comedian. I mean, that is what I do for a living. Really? Well, tell me a funny joke then, Chucky the comedian, he demands. He is cut off by a series of coughs. Have the consumptions or something? Okay, how about this? I bombed so bad in Los Angeles, I'm surprised I didn't get a full cavity search and sent to Homeland Security for being a weapon of mass suckage. I smile at him. Yeah, you're right, he says with only a slight wheeze. Told you I was a comedian. I beat him back. Not about that, about the mass suckage. He faces forward and plops his head on the window. This guy's a dick. I think to myself as he coughs again. And as I watch him attempt to evacuate his lungs, I see a disgusting red blotch on his neck. Oh, ew. What is that? Is that the herp? I'm convinced myself that that's the hurt. That way, when I'm talking about this asshat on stage, I have even more conviction. I shut my eyes as the plane gets ready for takeoff. The air is just suffocating. Sitting next to Coffee Hurt Man over here is no way helping me out. Just a few hours and I'll be back on terra firma, sucking in Portland. I wake to a loud sound. I realize I had dozed off, and how long could I have been asleep? People are murmuring amongst themselves loudly. Jesus Christ, what part of red-eye don't these people get? The air is still as oppressive as ever, clean, but still thick and heavy, and I wonder if people are chewing on that air rather than breathing it. I hear the sound again, and I notice that the talking isn't what woke me up. No, see, it was Victor. I look over to see that he's face first in his airsick bag, up chucking in a series of sloppy wet clumps and gargling noises, loud and obnoxious as his vomit's just flying out of his mouth into the bag. He pulls away and the long, food-laden rope of drool just hangs from his lips, slithering down onto his Hawaiian shirt.
Nice.
It's perfect camouflage. You okay there, Victor? I ask cautiously. What does it look like? No, I'm not okay, he snaps back. I notice bits of snot and food are resting on his upper lip. Clearly, he used every hole to get his stomach empty. I hate flying. Stupid job has me doing it, though. His voice is wet and gurgly. What do you do? I ask. That's none of your business. Look, he doesn't even finish. When he's back in the bag, letting loose with some serious violence. God, this smells horrendous. It's like he ate a dead squirrel and shit it out and then ate it again. Some Arby's. I shuddered as the stink fills my nostrils, mixing with the sterile smell, mixing with that great pressure of air, mixing with that sound of all these idiots yammering in their upheavals. And then I see that rash on his neck. See, at first it was gross. Now it was sickening. The rash had covered just the side of his neck when I first saw it, but now I see it covered his entire neck and his lower jaw. And worse, it was populated with these little tiny pustules. Small and white or yellow, things that undulated with each of his retchings. I swear, at any moment, those things could just pop. What the hell's wrong with them? Or is that contagious? You going through puberty there, Bucko? I asked timidly. He attempts an expletive and instead pukes. Okay, I can't handle this right now. Too much. I get up and I walk to the lavatory. Somehow the lavatory of a plane always seems to be less confining than the actual cabin, which makes no sense to me, but hey, nothing makes sense in this world, like Victor's stomach pyrotechnics and whatever that shit is on his neck, right? So I relieve myself and I wash up. I toss some water on my face, I wipe up, and I look in the mirror at myself. I try to smile. And it's hard, you know? It's hard to smile, but I have to. Hey, I'm a comedian, I gotta smile. How can I make someone else smile if I can't? So I force myself to. Here we go. Charlie the comedian. Charlie the sucky comedian who screwed up his chance in LA. I wipe the moisture from my face and I straighten up. My suspicions about Victor get a hard kick in the balls. It's right there on my neck. It's red. It's bright red. A rash right on my neck. That was there before, right? Right? I mean, yeah, it's razor burn. It's razor burn. No. It's too late for that. Not this time of night. I would have noticed it by now. No, it can't be. Victor must have given me something. Whatever is messing him up is getting ready to pummel me right now. Okay, let's get some control here, Charlie, the comedian. You're going home, you're gonna get home, you're gonna get this checked out at the free clinic, and then you're gonna go bomb somewhere else, but at least you're gonna be home, right? Oh God, this air, insufferable, sterile, chunky air in the airplane is in the lavatory now too, so. I walk out of the lavatory, I want to sigh, I want to take a deep breath, but no, I'm not going to let more of this air into me than I have to. I make my way to my seat right next to Victor. Victor the vomit machine. Victor, the man whose neck is covered in pustule rashes. Victor, the dickhead who probably gave me something. I sit down and he's no longer puking, thank God. He's asleep, just laying his head against the emergency exit window. Just awkwardly stretched since the window's a good foot away from his seat. Awkwardly stretched out, giving me a full view of his nasty-looking neck, just giving me every little raised bit of skin, every globe of yellowish pus, every bit of whatever infection that he's given to me. No, I'm not this bad. Am I gonna get that bad? I don't know. Do we even have it? God, I don't know. I want to shake him awake. I'm gonna ask him what he's got. God, this air. I reach out, I grab him, I give him a shake. Hey man, I need to know what the fuck is on your neck. And just as I finish that last word, he snaps his head towards me. I think he says, dude, like, back off or something like that, but I'm not listening, no. See, all I'm focused on is that one of those little pustules burst open like a water balloon on his neck, squirting a stream of clear liquid mixed with swirls of cadaverous white pus right onto the hand that I shook him with. Like some sort of defense mechanism. I feel the warm stream slide down my hand, leaving a wet trail on my skin as it aims to fall on the floor, and I lose it. My hand flies to the sick bag, and I feel my throat engorge with the content of my stomach. I feel bile and stomach acid mixing with food fill my mouth and nose as it hurls out of my face into the bag, heaving repeatedly in sloppy wet clumps, just like Victor. Just like Victor. I pull away when I'm devoid of anything. God, I can still smell the air through my own vomit. I mean, how can I smell the air through my own vomit? I look to Victor, and he's back asleep already. He didn't even clean that pus wound on his neck. The hole breathes when he breathes, opening and closing as his neck rises and falls with his breaths, just breathing in this goddamn air. How can he be so calm and sleeping when he's clearly diseased? Goddamn, I don't know what he's giving me. I don't know if I can take another second in this air, sterile air. What is he giving me? What's he infected me with just by sitting next to me? And God, how much worse is it going to get now that it's touched me? We're going to end up infecting this entire plane, this sterile, air-ridden plane. I got to get away. There's no place to sit. There's no place to go. The lavatory is filled with the air. The cockpit is filled with the air. The below deck is filled with the air. It's pressurized air. It's everywhere. It's circulating. It's circulating this disease of Victor's. It's giving it to everyone. I'm marinating in it. I'm incubating in it. The only safe place is going to be out. Outside the plane, outside, that's the silver lining. We're sitting right next to the damn emergency exit. Oh, silver lining. I fling my hand to the door's emergency handle. I yank up as hard as I can. I'll see you in the funny pages, jerkbags. Enjoy your disease. I'm getting the fuck out because Charlie, the comedian, is going places. That's Charlie, the comedian, is going places. Bye-bye. That was a fun story. I like getting angry and upset loudly. So there's a couple things I want to talk about real quick, because I'm halfway into my panel, but there's stuff I want to do, like stories I want to read about this. So first off, I'm going to tell you about two things. One is that I don't just do YouTube videos, I also do audiobooks. I've done a couple of audiobooks recently. If you guys check me out on Audible and Mr.Creepypasta. There's some novels there. They're fun things. I also did this one for G.R. Wilson. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm going to tell you about this one first. It's called Creepypasta Collection. It's a book that they put together. A whole bunch of really good authors are in this book. One of them's right over there. That's Christopher Maxim. He's a really cool guy. He writes really good books. Please check him out as well. One of the things when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure a whole bunch of people have gone through this. I've probably gone through this before. When you're like in elementary school, you ever have like a storyteller show up in October, and you're kind of like, yeah, we're going to tell you the story of Taylor Poe or whatever, right? And you ever had anything like that? Yeah, I've had one of those. That used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. Actually, every time this happened, he showed up and just told the story of Taylor Poe. It was just a standard like campfire story. It's not like the kind of things that I do here with this like airplane, video games, things like that. It was a campfire story, so it tells a story based in history, or just kind of tales like that. And I love the way they're always told because they always came back to life. So I want to always do one of these. I love doing this one whenever I'm at conventions. This is called The Golden Arm by G.R. Wilson. It's from his book called Right Behind You, Tales of the Spooky and Strange. I did the audiobook for this one, and I sent him a message later. I was like, I really want to do this at cons. So I want to do this with you guys. Let's go ahead and just close your eyes. Put yourself into that firelight situation. Hear the crackle of fire behind you. Make a crackle fire noise. Good job. And, we're going to go ahead and do a campfire spooky story. 1880s Georgia, there lived a wealthy young woman in a grand plantation house. The woman's name was Annabelle Walters, and she inherited her fortune from her father, who made his money in cotton farming. See, her father had been cruel to his slaves, but tender to his wife and daughter. And in 1864, baby Annabelle almost died in a fire set by William Sherman's soldiers. Her mother saved her from death, but could not save her left arm, which was so badly burned that it had to be amputated. The rest of Annabelle's body and her pretty face remained unscathed, but her father wanted the replacement for her arm to be as beautiful and as perfect as the rest of her. So when Annabelle was a teenager, her father had an arm cast out of solid gold, and everyone marveled at how shiny and how lifelike Annabelle's new arm was, even if it was cold and artificial. Annabelle's mother died of fever not long after the casting of the golden arm. And a few years after that, her father died in a steamboat explosion. And so, young, lovely Annabelle lived by herself in her family's old mansion, with only an old dog named Ranger to keep her company. Of course, many bachelors wanted to marry Miss Walters for her wealth. Well, they talked of love and affection. And Annabelle was no fool. She turned away many a scheming suitor. George was different. George had been a self-made rancher out west. He didn't come from money, and more importantly, he truly loved Annabelle for who she was, not for her money. The two wed and shared several happy years together. Then one dreary October, Annabelle fell sick with the same fever that killed her mother. The doctors, the best and most expensive doctors in the country, did all they could, but could not save her. By mid-November, lovely Annabelle lay on her deathbed, her beloved George at her side in her final hours. "George, darling, before I pass, I have one last request to impart upon you," she said. "Yes, my love, anything. What is it?" George replied. "My arm. My golden arm. It's my most precious possession, more important to me than this house or any of my jewelry. Please, bury me in the ground with my golden arm," said Annabelle. "Yes, Annabelle, if that's what you wish, I shall," said George. "Promise me, George. It's my final will upon this earth," she said. George gulped. "I promise to bury you with your golden arm, darling." Annabelle fell silent and was dead within a few minutes. George and a few of Annabelle's cousins were the only ones to attend her funeral, and she was buried in the Walters family cemetery down the road from the mansion. In accordance with his wife's last wish, George buried Annabelle with her golden arm. The night following the burial, George was sitting in front of the fireplace, Ranger the dog asleep at his side, and he thought about his future, his love life, his living arrangements. And then George thought of his financial situation. Neither him nor, of course, Annabelle had worked a day during their whole marriage. The Walters family fortune had paid for all that they wanted, but that money, between the doctor's fees and Annabelle's lavish headstone, well, that money was nearly gone. George had become lazy and accustomed to leisured life. If only he had another source of wealth. Then he remembered the golden arm. That arm was made of solid gold. It must be worth a small fortune itself, he thought. But it was already buried with its owner, as per her final will. But wouldn't Annabelle want him to be happy and not destitute? And hadn't she been a bit delirious towards the end with that fever thrashing about her brain? Surely, George thought, the poor woman wasn't even thinking straight towards the end. And now, she was dead, and couldn't care if she was buried with a golden arm or not. George made a decision. He put on his cloak, for the air was chilled that November night. And he brought a lantern, for the sky and the road were as dark as a cave. He creaked open the door to the tool shed and grabbed the shovel, the strongest looking one that he could find, for he would have 6 feet down to dig through cold, hard ground. The sky was filled with clouds. No moon nor stars greeted George on a solitary march to Annabelle's grave. The wind whispered through the grass and the naked branches like the voices of creatures best unseen. George hugged his cloak tight around him, and he held the lantern high within his tiny circle of yellow light. The shadows danced like madmen. And George felt his heart quicken as he approached the cemetery. George found the right headstone and plunged his shovel into the hard earth. The work got harder with each shovelful of dirt, but George worked faster as the wind picked up, and he shivered thinking of the fire back inside. And sooner than George expected, the shovel thud against wood. He cleared away the final layer of soil and opened the coffin. And there lay Annabelle, as fair and as beautiful as in the prime of her life. Clasped across her chest, her golden arms shimmered in the lantern light. Pushing aside flimsy thoughts of betrayal and robbery, George snatched the arm and slammed the coffin shut. The arm was as cold as ice, and George set it beside him as he shoveled dirt back on top of his wife. Then he scooped up his treasure and began the long walk back to the house. The wind grew stronger and stronger as he walked, gusting against his cloak and making the lantern sway in his hands. The wind whistled, and George thought he heard a voice carried high and faint across the fields. He froze, eyes wide, glanced to one side, then the other. Saw no one. But with each step on the frosty ground, the wind's voice grew more distinct. Who's got my golden arm? George hurried his walk, but the words followed him louder and louder. Who's got my golden arm? The terrified man at last reached the mansion's door, which he flung open, slammed, and locked behind him. He ran to the parlor where the ranger's ears perked up. A friendly hound dog greeted its master. The fire was down to embers, but even that small heat felt wonderful as George dropped his shovel and sat down. Then he heard that ghastly voice again. Who's got my golden arm? George couldn't place the sound source. It seemed to come from the chimney, the windows, the door, all at once. He clutched the heavy golden arm against himself and ran to the window to shut the curtains, but still, the forlorn and angry cry continued. Who's got my golden arm? Ranger barked and growled to the east wall, the one facing the cemetery. The wind made the boards of the house creak and moan, and the windows rattled, and that voice went on louder than ever. Who's got my golden arm? A gust of wind came straight down the chimney and put out the embers, and George ran with that golden arm upstairs, down the hallway to his bedroom, his heart thumping and his teeth chattering. Ranger's bark boomed, then was overpowered by the slam of the front door being thrown off of its hinges, and the wind screamed through the house. Who's got my golden arm? George threw himself under the bed sheets, clutched that icy, cursed golden arm, and it felt heavy as iron. And he could feel the wind slam open the bedroom door. Then the wind stopped. There was silence, followed by slow, shuffling steps, and tiny thuds as pieces of frozen grave dirt fell to the floor. George held his breath and prayed silently as the ghastly footsteps stopped. Just next to his bed. Who's got my golden arm? You got it!
He did bury her with it.
What?
He did bury her with it.
He did bury her with it, that's true. He was the asshole in the story, honestly.
Technicality.
He never specified that he couldn't figure that out.
You don't desecrate a grave. What are you, crazy? Where are we at? 8:41. I can do two. So I got one more that I promised to. Was everybody at the panel yesterday, by the way, for the writing panel? You guys are into, doing horror writing. I talked about like a lot of different strategies that I've heard from Vince Venicava. And I promised I was going to read a specific story. This is a short one. This one's really fun, though. Is anybody here afraid of spiders?
No.
I love spiders.
Spiders.
Love
This is
spiders.
a friend of mine, Max Lopdell. He
Cute little
writes for
fuzzy.
Unsettlingstories.com. And he writes a lot of really cool
Everyone
spooky
likes the
stories.
better.
I guess reliving that night and
Except for
putting my
North Face.
experiences on paper will help me get over the
As long as they
A
don't
few years ago, I was in a motorcycle wreck. I broke many of my bones, and I was immobilized from the shoulder down by a heavy body cast. They told me I was lucky. My wife, Violet, was supportive and nurturing. She never once complained about having to care for me. She cooked all my meals, kept me company, and emptied my bedpan without grimacing. After 2 weeks into my situation, Jenna called us bawling because her college roommate died. Vi had to leave immediately and had to be there for her. Vi's sister, Kathy, was going to take care of me. When I woke up the following morning, Vi was off, and Jenna was off to get Jenna, and Kathy was there, cheerfully making breakfast, talking up a storm, and she helped me with a few more of my more embarrassing biological needs. Like her sister, she never made me feel ashamed. She left around 11 that night and told me that she'd be back at dawn. See, I like to sleep with the TV on. For some reason, I find it comforting. I'd drift off while the game was finishing up and only wake up when I felt something thud against the cast on my chest. In the flickering light of the television, I saw a huntsman spider staring back at me.
Aww.
She was bigger than most of the ones that I'd seen around here, maybe the length of a rugby ball. And my breath caught in my throat, and every muscle in my body fired in an attempt to push the thing off of me. I couldn't move. I started yelling at the spider, hoping it might scare her away. She wasn't frightened. She turned around, exposing her abdomen to me, and I gasped. Her back and belly were covered in babies. They rippled like wind-blown fur as they moved over their mother's body. The huntsman turned back towards me and started walking closer to my face. Before then, I'd never thought about spiders having a scent. This one did. See, it smelled like wet dirt, sort of like how outside smells after a rainstorm. The smell intensified as its long legs reached my face. I squeezed my mouth and eyes shut. Its prickly legs advanced first to my lower lip, then my nose, then my eyelids, and finally my forehead. Its leg span reached from ear to ear, hairline to chin. Its thick, heavy body ran from my chin to right between my eyes, and it stayed there. I tried to hold my breath. To say I was horrified was an understatement. I wished I was dead. I prayed to be dead. My prayers went unanswered as it walked a little higher, letting its abdomen brush against my nose. And I sneezed. The huntsman immediately buried its fangs into my forehead as their baby streamed from her abdomen onto my face. I shrieked. The tiny spiders crawled over my cheeks, squirmed through my beard, and hid in my eyelashes. I thrashed my head back and forth in an attempt to get them off me. The mother moved onto my pillow right by my ear and bit my cheek. It felt like a wasp sting. And then she ran over my shoulder and pushed herself through that tiny opening in the cast by my armpit. At this point, I was screaming uncontrollably. A sea of baby arachnids explored my nostrils, my hair, and were starting to find my ears. I felt a tendon or a ligament or something snap as I thrashed, sending white-hot pain through my neck. Trying to move my head after that was excruciating. As the babies dispersed throughout my face and head, the mother explored under the cast. To this day, I have no idea how she was able to compress herself to fit underneath the thing. She wandered over my chest to my stomach and down to my groin. She exited the cast by the hole nearby, only to move back inside by my legs. She stopped at the underside of my knee, and that's where she stayed. When Kathy arrived in the morning, I'd somehow fallen asleep. I guess the exhaustion brought on by the horror. I tried to let her know what was happening as soon as I woke up, but I just started screaming all over again. I felt the huntsman behind my knee. She must have been sleeping too, and was startled awake by me yelling. She bit my leg over and over as Kathy tried to calm me down and tried to get me to fill her in on what was happening. By the time I was able to tell her, she looked like she was about to faint. I'd always considered myself somewhat of an arachnophobe, but Kathy's fear is light years beyond my own. She called emergency services, and they sent a couple of guys who were able to coax the thing out and kill her.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So in the end, I guess I was kind of anticlimactic. So I came home, and Jenna, later in the day, Kathy had told her about my night, and neither of them were able to listen to all of the details. It was a family of arachnophobes. Time went by, and my broken bones knitted together and healed, and eventually I was back on my motorcycle. Every night, though, I dream about the huntsman spider staring at me. I feel her young streaming across my face and on my nose and around the gaps of my teeth. And whenever there's a quiet moment, I hear them scratching at my eardrums. And I swear that every time I clean my ears, I'm pulling out eggs. That's Body Cast by Max Landell. I really want to fit in the top one, so.
That's funny.
So if you guys have heard the panel before, you've seen a lot of the work that I do on my channel. You guys know that I'm really good friends with a writer named Vincent Benicava.
Yeah. Yeah, Vince Venicala. He's a really good friend. We wrote a comic book together. We wrote a whole bunch of books and a whole bunch of other stuff together. We work together all the time. And he, when I was in Phoenix Comic Con last year, he happened to have been there because we were promoting the comic book that we had written. And it was, he came to the Creepypasta panel that I did, and he was like, cool, cool. I had 2 at that con. He goes, the next one you should read this specific story from his first book, Decomposing Head. He goes, you should do it. I was like, I don't know if I can actually do that. That's kind of a nutty story. He goes, no, trust me, do it. So I tried it. Everybody seemed to love it there. So I have been trying it out other places to see if people love it as well. Since I get to play a killer in the story, it's always really fun, but it's really short. And this is going to be the last one I've got. And it's called The Thoughts of a Modest Murderer by Vincent Van Gogh. She's making her way to the bathroom. It won't be long now before I have my first kill. Oh, this is so exciting. Okay, just like I planned, I stand here in the shower with my knife ready and drawn when she pulls back the curtain. Well, it'll be curtains for her. I made it funny. I'm gonna take a little peek so I can get into the perfect position to pounce. Oh. Isn't this a treat? She's undressing in front of me. Yes, darling. Slide out of those jeans, why don't you? Oh, look at that bottom. A very sexy rump, if I do say so myself. Gonna enjoy stabbing my knife into you, honey. Okay, time to get ready. She's approaching the shower now. Here she comes. Oh. She's sitting on the toilet.
Sexy.
I wish I could give her some privacy, but this is kind of a unique situation. I guess everything will be fine just as long. Oh God. Is she taking? Oh, she is. I'm afraid this is terribly embarrassing. Oh, Lord, it stinks in here. I honestly didn't know the human body was creating a stench so foul. The hell did she eat for lunch today?
Taco Bell. Chipotle.
It smells like 3-week-old cat food.
That's
left out
Chipotle.
the dumpster behind a sushi restaurant. I can taste it. Jesus, why can I taste it? But hers is flesh, darling. Oh, you raised in a barn? Mind that, even barn animals would be offended by this putrid concoction you're brewing inside that pungent porcelain pot you're sitting on. Oh my God, she's picking her nose now. Well, that's it. This woman's lost all sex appeal as far as I'm concerned. Right, she's really digging deep, isn't she?
Brain surgery.
What else is she trying to do? Scratch her brain? No. No, don't you do it. Don't you eat that booger, young lady. She ate it. Unbelievable. Okay. Stiff upper lip, you can get through this. Sure, things haven't gone exactly as expected. You know, that doesn't mean this can't be a successful outing. She appears to be finishing up, anyways. Straighten up. Wipe the tears from your eyes. Get back into position. You don't want a nickname like the Blubbering Butcher or the Crybaby Killer, do you? No, that's not scary. Of course she went back to front. Nothing surprises me anymore.
Oh.
Wait, where's she going? Oh no, don't go! You might need to take a shower